Well, the smoke is finally getting out of here.
And the rains have returned, a typical day in Oregon.
And here's something else that's typical, a new episode of Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time, and what a week we have had. We hope everyone is safe with their families.
And with all the smoke we've had in the air, a lot of people are concerned about their vegetables. So coming up in the show today, we'll be talking to Jan about how to make sure our vegetables are safe to eat.
And also coming up in the show today, we'll show you how to grill corn on the cob.
But coming up first, we'll take you to a mint harvest. Well, it's harvest season, and today we are harvesting mint, which is super exciting. I'm out here in Klatskanai with Mike Seeley, and yes, we are related. Whole different story on that we'll do later. But we're in a mint field. So Mike, tell us, what do we have in the fields?
So this is native spearmint. We raise both heirloom black Mitcham peppermint and native spearmint. And right now we're harvesting the native spearmint. It's a little bit of a race because they're talking rain by Monday evening, and we have to get this harvested by then, or else if it gets rained on, it'll turn the oil red. And right. I mean dark red. and we want a clear oil is what we're out after, a light green to clear oil.
Right, and your harvesting mint gets harvested a couple times a year, right?
On native spearmint, we harvest it twice because it evolved to be a very aggressive plant. And so it'll bloom in early July, we'll take that off, and then it will grow back as you see now, and it's starting to bloom, and we'll take a second cutting.
And so we're looking at you said the spearmint that we're looking at now, and you've already harvested the peppermint. But so how do you harvest this?
So we'll take a swather like you would hay, and we'll cut and windrow it. And then we'll let it dry 2 to 3 days longer if we're going to harvest it for tea leaf, because with tea leaf we combine it. So we have to be able to take it off with the combine. For the oil, we just pick it up with the chopper and chop it and blow it into the mint tubs. And that they have a opening in the front. We blow it in when it's full. Truck driver drops off an empty one, picks up the full one, brings it to the still where we will steam distill it for the oil.
Okay, so then they're taking this, and that's kind of mostly what you're using the mint for, is for the oils, right?
Correct. Even though we have a huge demand for the tea leaf side, the oil side is so far what we're focusing the most on.
For the home gardener that's growing mint at home, they've been told to put it in a pot because it definitely runs and spreads. They're not going to be able to distill it at home. But what are some uses that the home gardener can use with their mint? So
they can dry it and use it as tea leaf. And pick it up, dry it. You want to hang it upside down and let it dry in the sunlight. You can use it in salads. It's great if you consume it. Pepto-Bismol used to be peppermint oil, and that's what calms your stomach if you drink it as oil, or if you just eat the leaves. We sometimes put it in the bedding of the pets and stuff like that, so that keeps the fleas and that away and repels the ticks. Gosh, it's got just all sorts.
A lot of uses.
There really is,
for what you can do with your own mint at home.
During the winter, what you also want to do is make sure that you clip it off to ground level and then cover it with about 2 inches of dirt. And the mint will grow back through in the spring, but what that will do is that will break the rust cycle, and that because the rust can't climb up through the soil, and so you won't see the rust that you would normally see during the summer.
Right. Because it's we were talking earlier about just a little bit of oil goes a long ways, because that's what you're using to flavoring your chocolates and other confections that are really delicious. So.
Well, thank you. But yeah, you have to remember this is pure essential oil. It's not an extract. An extract is 89 to 95% alcohol or sunflower oil. So why use real peppermint or spearmint oil anyway, because you've already messed it up. This is the pure essential oil. 1 pint of our pure peppermint oil will flavor 55,000 sticks of chewing gum, or about 2,500 pounds of chocolate.
Oh wow, so it really is does go a long way. Now that you have all of these oils, what all are you using them for the products that you guys are making?
Why, now we make these, our signature product is our peppermint patties. That's my killer mint patty. We hit a home run with those. And then we have our peppermint bark, and we use our own crushed candy cane on it. We have our dark mint melts. We have our ivory mints, which is a really unique premium Italian white chocolate with a peppermint spearmint twist. We have our 3 candy canes. our pure peppermint, our pure spearmint, our peppermint spearmint blend, and then we have our ribbon candies, and then hopefully we'll have our tea back here in another 2 to 3 weeks, both peppermint tea, spearmint, a peppermint spearmint blend, and a peppermint green tea.
You know, and if people are, you know, interested in purchasing, where's the best place for them to go find these Sealy mints?
We're all over in the Pacific Northwest, really all over the U.S. and Canada now. Everywhere from Vancouver, BC to Ottawa to Florida to California. Whole Foods, New Seasons, Market of Choice, Fred Meyer.
So you guys are definitely growing and branching out and trying to take it on. So, you know, for more information on where you can find the Sealy mints, you can go to their website, or you can go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over. So, Mike, it's a pleasure to be out here, and it's been great to meet you and learn about the, you know, the family history. And, you know, my connection to you has been fun to and see how mint farming is done in Oregon.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate it. And yeah, it's been really interesting learning about the family history and that. So it's all tied together.
It's been super cool. So thank you.
Yeah.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Is your garden in need of refreshment? Hi, I'm Sarah, and there are plenty of things in bloom at Portland Nursery. Come check out our beautiful fall color to perk up your garden. At Portland Nursery, we consider fall the second season, and the gardening opportunities are endless. Establish next year's trees, replace lettuce and greens, or get a jump on onions and garlic. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, on 50th and Stark and 90th and Division, or at portlandnursery.com.
Every year, trees fall or break, causing property damage, power outages, and injury.
Now is the time for Bartlett Tree Experts and Collier Arbor Care to get your trees ready for the extreme conditions ahead.
Our free consultation will help to spot the signs of potentially hazardous trees.
We can help address problems before they occur. Whether it's trees or shrubs, we can help you get a healthy and beautiful garden.
Collier Arbor Care and Bartlett Tree Experts, providing environmentally safe tree care since 1907.
Since 1929, Grimm's Fuel has powered great gardens around our area. With our comprehensive composting and yard debris services, we can apply quality garden mulch, compost, and blended soils with our experienced crews and trucks, including our landscape rock and bark products as well. We're proud of our industry-leading state-of-the-art composting facilities. We also can take care of your fuel oil and firewood needs. Grimm's Fuel, building great gardens since 1929.
The biggest sale of the year is on now. Huge savings on perennials, trees and shrubs, pottery, patio furniture, and more. Don't miss it. Our biggest sale of the year is on now. Al's Garden and Home in Woodburn, Sherwood, Gresham, and Wilsonville.
I'm checking in with Jan McNeelan today. Jan, I'm so glad you're standing up and you look pain-free.
Hey, I am.
Excellent. That's so good to see you.
I'm ready to go.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, just in time for it's mildew time.
Yes, it certainly is. What you have in your hand right there are, both of the plants are lungwort, and they have a little kind of forget-me-not-like flower on them early. And there's a lot of different varieties, and one of them obviously is resistant to mildew, and the other one is awful.
Yeah.
But it is mildew, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. Just keep in mind, you might want to divide the good one, put it where the other one is. And there's zucchini here that's just barely hanging on here towards the end, and there'll be a few more fruits on it. But if you wanted to, let's say your leaves are bigger and there's more to it, you could pick off the mildew and leave the part that's still flowering and still has some other new fruits coming, and it might last a little longer, but that's about it.
And then make sure you throw those bad leaves away, not put in compost.
Yep, they need to go in yard debris, because it'll be hotter when they compost than you yourself.
Right. And then what about tomatoes? They're looking like this.
Well, this one has mildew on it too, but it's still producing. This is a giant bush Goliath.
Wow.
And if it were up to me, I think that's all I'm going to plant next year. It's done so well. It has mildew on it, but it's still producing. And I've gotten a couple big baskets full off of it already.
Great. And I see that you're doing something with your raspberries, so let's go over there.
Okay.
Jan, before we talk about anything else, we have to talk about all the smoke and ash. And so I have an Asian pear, you have a tomato. What should we do when we harvest?
Wash them.
Ah, that easy.
Yeah, it's not going to, the ash is not going to penetrate the fruits or vegetables. So just wash them thoroughly and maybe wash them again, and then you'll feel like you've done everything you can.
Right.
There is a really good article that's just recently been put out by OSU Extension Service about what do you do if ash is on your fruits and vegetables, and they explained it very clearly.
Oh, great.
But that's all. You just wash it off. It's okay.
And we'll have a link to that on the Garden Time website. So I see that you're all ready with your raspberries. Look at that.
We are. I had help, and we cleared out all of the dead canes from this last summer's crop, and then left these are the canes for next year. So we have a good picture of showing the difference between a live cane, which is green, and a dead one from last year, which is brown. So you will know which ones to take out. And then we have them up on wires. You can do a whole lot of different ways.
Right. No, but it makes it so much easier.
Very much so. Very much so. And then behind me, up here, clear at the top of the arborvitae, is wild clematis.
Okay.
And wild clematis is a pain, and you want to get rid of it. If you think you have a clematis, oh, I recognize that leaf, likely if it's just coming up where you don't want it, it's a weed, and this is very invasive, and I just want people to know what it is and what it looks like.
Make sure you take it out.
Right.
Well, you know, we always get so much good information from Jan. If you have any other questions, please go to gardentime.tv, and we'll have all the links to those websites for you to look at. Jan, thanks so much. See you next year, next month.
Next month.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Fall in the Northwest is
the best time of year to plant, with warmer soils and cooler evenings.
A time to spend with family and friends.
Fall is a time to celebrate.
To decorate.
And to enjoy the colors that are only found here in our area.
Fall is a time to come to Garland Nursery.
And let us show you all that fall can be.
Garland Nursery, inspiring beautiful and bountiful gardens.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
At Sagawa Nursery, we always talk about taking your garden from ordinary to extraordinary. For us, that means bringing you the newest and best plants and unique garden items to you, our customer. For you, that means we'll help you transform your garden into something that's extraordinary. We also have some great gift items and even a few surprises for inside your home too. Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
Well, it's late summer and nothing says barbecue than corn on the cob. I'm with Brian, we're down at Bauman Farms, and we have corn today.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's corn season. It's great.
So Brian, we get people asking, it's like, you know, they're out harvesting, they've tried their garden this year, they want corn. When do you harvest it? When is it ready?
So we actually start our corn in the greenhouse. And then we transplant it out in the field. Our claim to fame, if we can do it all right, is we can have corn by the 4th of July, but that's super early.
Right.
Generally, middle of July, end of July, we start, and we will keep planting corn all summer long. So until it freezes, we should have corn on the cob at Bauman Farms.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So, you know, so people have it in their yard, and, you know, you got corn on the cob. When do you know if it's ready?
So we got a couple ears of corn here. When people ask me this all the time, and everybody's out there peeling it back. And when we're picking the corn, what we're doing is we're grabbing a hold of the top of the ear.
Right.
And if I can feel that it's full all the way to the top, it's good to go.
Right, because you don't want to make that mistake of starting to peel it off while it's still on there.
That would take a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
And people always ask, you know, when they've got the big bin out front, how do you know which one's ripe? And I tell them about holding the top, because a lot of people are out there peeling the husk back on all their ears of corn, and you don't want to do that.
Why is that?
Because it's actually great for grilling the corn to keep the husk on there. You can actually grill the corn with the husk on there, and it keeps it so much more moist and ready to go. But there is one little trick I've learned.
Okay, and what's that?
So you have all these hairs on the top of your corn, right? If you leave these on and grill the corn, it becomes like this hairy, crispy mess.
Right, I've seen all that silk, and you're just like this stringy black stuff.
Not a good idea.
We don't want that.
What we're going to do is slowly start peeling back the corn husk. And I like to go like 3/4 of the way back, and we'll get this guy peeled back, and we can actually remove all of these hairs ahead of time. So we'll get these guys off of here, make the mess that my mom will be very happy that I made, and then we can just wrap it back up.
Oh, nice. Okay, so those are all cleaned up now.
Cleaned up.
For the hair.
Right, but before we put it on, it's always a good idea to kind of put them in some cold water for about 10 minutes. It kind of makes sure that it's really hydrated and it's not going to get burned and crispy again.
Gotcha, because if you're throwing it right on the grill, you know, if it's dried out, it's going to burn that up.
So one of the things I like to do, I can never find a bowl big enough to put my corn into. So I like to take like your cooler that you would fill, I'd put a little bit of water, some ice in there, and dunk it in there for a little while.
Oh, great. Yeah, because that's why we have one down here that has it soaking up right down here.
I've got some all ready for us. Do you want to grab me one of those ears out of
there? Grab that out of here. I'm going to grab your tongs here. So these have been soaking for about 10 minutes, you said. You know, looks like we have all the hairs and the tassels off of there.
Go ahead and pop them on there,
Right on in there.
And I actually did one with the hairs on it too, so I thought we could grill one of those too and kind of show the difference.
So we'll throw one on here that still has that on there.
Yep.
Excellent.
And actually, we're going to turn these about every 5 minutes, but it's only going to take about 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
And these guys are ready to go. So we're going to leave this down.
You're closing up. You're running on a high heat?
Yeah, about 300, 350.
Okay.
And we'll let that go for 5 minutes, and then we'll turn them.
Excellent. So it's been about 15, 20 minutes now, so let's pull that open and check to see if we're done. Oh, looks like we're done. So we flipped that a few times now, so it looks like it's fully cooked. And so you're pulling that off.
Let's let these cool down a minute.
Okay, so it is, it's late, summer, it's almost fall time. Typically this time of year you guys are getting ready for your fall harvest, right?
Yes, and I will say, we're not doing everything like we normally do.
Right.
And we're kind of excited though. It's going to be back to our roots. So kind of when I was in second grade, I was 8 years old, we did our first pumpkin patch. And it was nothing more than a place for me and my friends to come out and get some pumpkins. And that's exactly what we want to do for your family and other families, to come out, come to a You Pick Pumpkin Patch, take your pictures with the kids, getting their pumpkins.
Okay.
The corn maze will still be there. A certain number of people can go in. There'll be people in there making sure everybody wears their mask, social distance. It will definitely be different.
Right, but you're still able to do it, so people can continue on with these traditions of going to the pumpkin patch, and the farm store's open.
The farm store is open. We'll be open starting in October, 7 days a week, 9 to 5 each day. We realized that when the kids get done with their Zoom calls in the morning for classes, come on out to Bauman Farms, get your apple cider donuts, get your apple cider, and spend an afternoon with us.
Yeah, get your produce. Wander the farm. You got a lot of acreage.
That's right. We've got some
space. It's going to be a little bit different.
And we're all ready to get out of the house every now and then these days. So we thought this would be fun.
Well, good. Well, so it looks like now that our corn is cooling off, what's the next steps?
So everybody has their own way of eating corn, and you can see it is a little kind of charred on the outside here, but boy, that looks good all the way through. My mom likes to take butter, and like a cube of butter, and she puts it in the refrigerator. So when you pull it out, it's hard, and you can literally just pull this back now and just roll it in the butter, and that's all that we do. That's like the Bauman family tradition. I know lots of people make different like compound butters, and you can put herbs and stuff in there.
Parmesans and things like that.
Exactly. But at Bauman Farms, that's what we do.
And it's great, peel it back and you have a handle to hold on to.
That's right, exactly. And you can see we did the other one here with the hair still on it, and you can see they just flake off into a mess.
It's a lot harder to clean, and you're left with all that residue.
Yeah, no thank you. So this is definitely the way to go. This is how we do it with our family, and we wanted to share it with you guys.
Well, great. That's great tips. So, Brian, it's always a pleasure being out with you. And make sure that you go to your guys' website.
Yes.
Your webpage has tons of information on there as far as, what you're able to do, the protocols now. But, most importantly, come out. Get your pumpkins, continue the traditions, and, and you pick up some corn while you're out here.
That's exactly right.
So, Brian, it's been a pleasure being out here.
You.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Great. And how much cargo room does it have?
Tons. Basically, all of that stuff will fit right here.
Even this guy?
Definitely.
I love it. What's next?
Well, financing can be done online, and if you're ready to test drive, we can bring it to you.
Wow. No wonder everyone told me to go to Capital Subaru. Thanks, Shelby.
You ready to get back on the road again?
Definitely. 2020 isn't canceled. It just looks different. Shop online, by phone, or in person. Your way at Capital Subaru.
Do you have a leaning or broken fence? Fix a broken fence with ease. Made in Oregon, the sturdy fence post bracket can mend your drooping fence. Strong winds, falling debris, dry rot, and wayward drivers can all cause havoc on your once sturdy fence. Our sturdy bracket attaches to your existing fence and is easily installed in 30 minutes. Limit waste, materials, and save money by fixing your existing fence. Purchase online at sturdfence.com or visit participating Par Lumber and Pro Build stores.
The biggest sale of the year is on now. Huge savings on perennials, trees and shrubs, pottery, patio furniture, and more. Don't miss it. Our biggest sale of the year is on now. Al's Garden and Home in Woodburn, Sherwood, Gresham, and Wilsonville.
Gardens are all about sanctuary, and in these times of COVID-19, they are even more important. I'm at Legacy Good Sam with Dr. Cleveland, who's the Medical Director of Employee Health here, which, Dr. Cleveland, that's so important during this time, isn't it?
It certainly is. Stress and burnout among healthcare professionals was a huge issue before COVID-19. Now with COVID-19, that has upped the ante on people's stress level and the risk of burnout. So more than ever, we have to fulfill our mission, which is to leave a legacy of good health for our people and our patients. And to provide the best care for our patients, we must provide good care of our own employees and our medical staff. So one of the most important things now for our staff is to be taking breaks, to get breaks from the busy intensive care unit where they're working. Get outside, and whenever possible, get a break outside in one of our 12 hospital gardens. We know that it doesn't take very long. We know that even 3 to 5 minutes in a garden reduces blood pressure, heart rate, muscle tension. I use the gardens a lot myself to help deal with this challenging time, and probably the first thing I do once I sit down in a hospital garden here is I exhale. I can feel it. And we also know that from a landmark study at Legacy Emmanuel that acute care nurses taking care of some of the sickest patients at Legacy had reductions in fatigue, stress, and burnout when they spent just 20 minutes, a simple work break each day in the garden. So getting out, taking a break is so important for our staff now.
And we can really bring that home to all of us in the community in our own space.
We absolutely can. One thing that we do at Legacy now is something we call check on you, check on two. Check in with ourselves. I do this each morning now. How am I feeling? Is there something I could do today to make things a little better? Maybe I can hit a few golf balls, or I can spend time walking in a park. And then I also check on 2 other staff members, either people working from home or a colleague I haven't been in touch with. So that's a good thing for people to do out in the community, is check in with themselves and 2 other people. I'm a big believer in physical activity, not just for the physical benefits, but also because it helps our mental health. It reduces stress and anxiety, and we know we need that now. So if we can combine some physical activity with being in a beautiful place, do some gardening if you're fortunate enough to have your own garden or to volunteer in a community garden, it's a great way to get the benefits of being out in nature and physical activity, because we must attend to all these issues. And these are some of the strategies that we can use for all of us, whether you're at Legacy or you're living out in the community.
Right. And we're going to be talking with Tricia Hazen right now and how they put all these practices in helping their patients. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to see how the garden is really used to help patients. I'm with Tricia Hazen, who's in charge of all these therapeutic gardens. And so Tricia, so what are we seeing here?
We have physical therapists working with their patients this morning in the garden, and all therapies at Legacy use the gardens all through the year. Truly, every month, patients are out in the garden to work on rebuilding strength and endurance, working on balance, and working on their other rehabilitation goals so they can discharge and get back to home.
That is wonderful, because it's such a nice environment instead of being in a PT room.
And that's the first step. We start out in the PT room. Well, first we start out in the hospital bed. Then we move on to the PT room. Then this is the next step to getting home.
That is wonderful, because what a wonderful transition for that. Mm-hmm. And I know that we have one more section to go to and talk about something else. Let's go over there. Tricia, really all parts of this garden are used by patients and their therapists.
Absolutely, we designed it for patient use. Therapists were involved in the designing of all the Legacy gardens. So again, we have physical therapy working right here on balance while seated in a wheelchair, increasing upper extremity strength and endurance, and working on balance.
That is wonderful, and so important for all of us. Then we work in our gardens and get healthier. And this garden and all the Legacy gardens are parts of the community, so are we still invited into the gardens?
Absolutely, these are public places. This garden here at Legacy Good Samaritan, the Stenzel Healing Garden, has been open to the public always. Please come and have lunch, bring your lunch, bring a picnic. Always wear your face mask, bring your hand sanitizer, and have a good time in the garden.
Oh, you know, we just love coming out to just talk about all these gardens, because they are gems that we can all use. And we're so excited that all of our healthcare workers are just into gardenings and enjoying them. So for any other questions, please go to gardentime.tv and go over to the Legacy website, where there's lots of information and videos about our own mental health. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Garden Time today, and believe it or not, this is the last weekend of summer. We just can't wait for those fall rains to begin.
And for more information on today's show or any of our other episodes, go to gardentime.tv. Judy and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.